What is up, guys? Ncaa 31 here. Bringing you a couple of videos tonight. There's going to be this one talking about running the football, and also part 3 of my 3-3-5 stack breakdown, which is going to include a every play, down by down, full game, where I'll also talk a little bit of offense, which I haven't really done too much of yet. But you'll at least be able to see what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. But first, I'm going to talk about run blocking in this video and running the football. One of the things that I find a little annoying about critique videos and people who do critique videos is the tendency to, at times, not all the time, but sometimes there's a tendency to over-dramatize flaws that are in the game. Is run blocking perfect? No. Is it outstanding? At times. Is it doable? Absolutely. But when people say things like, the game is broken and run blocking fails them 90% of the time, well, it's just not true. It's an idiotic thing to say because it's not the reality of the situation. And there's a couple of things you can do to help yourself get better at running the football and see more success, like the play you are seeing here. We all know that pulling linemen have a tendency to sometimes stop prematurely and result in you getting blown up. I've done videos where I've talked about that being a rough edge that needs to be patched. But usually on average, if you're running to numbers, counting the box, running behind your best players, and not mashing sprint, whether you're using the stick for auto sprint and just shoving it as hard as you can up way too soon, or using the trigger, you can get some pretty good results running the football. I'm not playing a different game than anybody else. I'm playing the exact same game everyone else is playing, and I'm able to run the football, so I got to be doing something somewhat right. And I play people who can run the football. I play people who run the flex bone, who can run it very well and run the football. And the flex bone isn't really that great. Hasn't been for a while. The flex bone is an area where EA seems to struggle getting the mechanics of the offense right. It's a heck of a lot more intricate offense than it is given credit for. But anyhow, some common sense things which can go a long way towards helping you gain steady yards on the ground. One is counting the box. Now, I happen to run a pass, centered offense. But when I do run the ball, it's because I see the numbers are in my favor. You always want to run to the side where you have an advantage at the point of attack. You also want to run as much as you can towards the side where your best linemen, your best run blockers, are lined up at. Play the matchups to your advantage. I was trying to offer some words of encouragement to someone who made a video, and they were frustrated that they couldn't run the ball against a team like Alabama when they're using a mid-level BCS type of team. Well, no kidding. And online, it's going to be harder to soften up people to run the football because of the constant man-zero blitzes. But once you loosen them up and get them out of that and start using your noggin, you can then open up the running game for yourself and do some pretty good things on the ground. Like here, for example, this is from a recent online ranked game. I'm using Florida State, And this is a simple HB base play out of shotgun spread. Running the spread no huddle against an LSU user. I've been running a lot of HB draws and QB blasts, and he's pinched his line. Look at that soft box I have to run the HB base. Look at that massive amount of grass to the left there. You don't want to run to the right there and then make videos saying the run blocking is broken. You don't want to do that. Don't run a counter to that side, because he has clearly a blitz coming there, and the chances of you being able to get by him are not going to be very good. Use your eyes, count the box, head north-south as quickly as you can. Good blocking at the point of attack. I have a massive canyon there. I could have gone left, but I saw that guy spinning inside, so I went the other way. For the other direction, to say he really spun outside. So I went back inside. That's a stuff you can do just by, reading the box and taking what your opponent gives you. Shotgun run, offline, playing on default Heisman, pulling lineman, fullback lead blocking. Again, running to the side of the field that has a numbers advantage. Pulling lineman picks up a guy. Got my guy leading up front. I got a midget wide receiver there who held his block for as long as he could, and that's a solid game. Nothing wrong with that run whatsoever. Does it suck to see guys miss blocks? Does it suck to see your pulling lineman do that, little stop that he does? Sure it does. I don't like it. No one likes it. No one likes to get their halfback killed. But by and large, you can get good results if you're running behind your studs and running to numbers than not. And there I'm playing on default Heisman, so none of you yakety-yaks out there can say that I'm manipulating anything. Some of you dudes have serious mental issues. I was watching one of Addy Cards' videos and going back and forth with him, and one of you dopes sent me a message saying, or calling me a scumbag and wishing me nothing but the worst in life. Whatever. I sent him a nice cordial reply. I wished him happy birthday. I congratulated him on turning 9 years old and went about my day. And that's the thing about me, I'm a little bit different, I think, from a lot of sim gamers, in which I know a lot about football from my experience, playing and coaching and whatnot, and I try to blend that kind of sim style and authentic schemes with the understanding that this is a video game. I'm not a micro critiquer, or even a critiquer for that matter, which I think is something that separates me from a lot of the sim style people on YouTube. Obviously, something goes blatantly wrong, or something looks weird, I mention it. I do that in all my vids. But you're not going to see me freaking out because a guy doesn't move or react 100% like a real human being. I mean, these are animated characters. They don't think. The human brain is capable of infinite possibilities. The human body is capable of infinite amounts of movements. It's what separates us from machines, and what separates us from animals is our ability to adapt. A computer does what it's told to do. It does what someone inputs. And you're never going to be able to duplicate the power of the human brain in a machine and not have a video game console cost as much as your house. So, you got to understand the reality of the situation and that you're dealing with a video game. I'm not one of these guys who's a grown man who whines and cries and is a frustrated ex-athlete who is living vicariously through these games. That's just not me. But anyhow, I think you guys can see more than enough here. Most of you guys know this kind of stuff already. But for those of you who have been struggling, I hope these clips help you out. And I'll talk to you all later. Peace.